Shalom, brothers united in Christ. We're coming back at you, picking up on this lesson. Religion is modern day idolatry, right? I feel it's a big problem amongst us in the earth, especially amongst our own people. So we're gonna keep digging into it, right? Pick it up, Ak.
2 Kings 17 and 14.
Right.
Notwithstanding, they were not here, but hardened their necks like the necks of their fathers, that did not believe in the Lord their power.
Yeah, so here it is, 2015. We still got the same MO. We still got the reputation that you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and those of Indian descent, we're some hard-headed people when it comes to the truth. We don't want to hear the truth. We don't want to hear spirituality. We don't want to hear this Bible. When this Bible come up, we get real hard-headed. We don't want to listen. But if somebody talk about some vanity or some wickedness, we're quick to go with it. Instead of sticking to our own ways, we run and we look at the other nations of people and we follow after their ways. And the fact of the matter is, our people, we got a reputation of not believing in the Lord. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't believe in the Lord, you're going to believe in something else. If you don't believe in the Lord, you're going to believe in your job. You're going to believe that your life is all about your job. If you don't believe in the Lord, you're going to believe in money. You're going to think that life is all about hoarding up all this paper and putting it in the bank, right? If you don't believe in the Lord, you're going to believe in what? Your husband or your wife or your partner. Like, that's all you need to get you straight through life. The fact of the matter is, us being the Lord's people, we got to believe in the Lord and lift up the Lord's name. Because this earth is going to be in disarray until the Lord's people put it together, right? Read on out.
2 Kings 17 and 15. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them.
Right.
And they followed vanity and became vain,
right, and
went after the heathen that were round about them.
Yeah, same thing today. We left off the Lord, but what do we replace it with? We replace it with vanity, right? We became real vain. We come and we look at the African, and now we want to be Afrocentric. You know what I mean? We want to wear dashikis. We want to wear African pride symbols. We're not Africans. The Lord said we're the chosen tribe of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and those of Indian descent that went through captivity in Northern America, Southern America, Central America, and the Caribbean belt. That's who you are. You're not supposed to be trying to be something that you're not. How do we become vain as a people? We became vain because we followed other nations. No Negro on this earth is born with blonde hair, yet we'll see a white man with blonde hair, we want to dye our hair blonde. Negro be ashamed of his own skin. He want to bleach his skin so he could look lighter. Accept who you are, because you're from a chosen people, you're from a people that the Lord blessed, right? The Lord said we got an image of powerliness, but we deny the power thereof. We got to claim what's ours, right? Read on.
2 Kings 17 and 15.
Right.
And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them.
Right.
And they followed vanity and became vain,
right,
and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them.
Yeah, the Lord said, don't be like the so-called white man. Take your head out the butt of the so-called white man so you can see the right way. The Lord said, don't be like the Chinaman. The Lord said, don't seek after the African. Don't seek after the Japanese. It's not about them. It's about us getting ourselves together as a people. Right? Read on.
2 Kings 17 and 16.
Right.
And they left off all the commandments of the Lord their power, and made themselves molten images, even 2 calves, and made groves, and worshiped all the hosts of heavens,
right,
and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire.
And people, they find these things far-fetched, but in the earth, you still got idolatry. We still got a big rock over there in Mecca, where people go over there and they circle around and humble themselves up, and they bow down to a rock that fell out the sky. You got people on the earth that's still burning their children in the fire. Not literally killing their children with fire, but I mean, even in the paper a few weeks ago, I heard of a lady, she killed her own children and she put the bodies in the freezer. You know what I mean? There's another case with Casey Anthony. That chick, she killed her baby. There's no way that she didn't kill that baby and act like she didn't do it. You know what I mean? Those are some lightweight examples, but these atrocities, they still happen in the earth. The way we burning our children in the fire today is with the lies, with the philosophies. We sending our children out in America with no shield, with no protection, right? With no truth, no wisdom, right? Read on out.
2 Kings 17 and 17. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire.
Right.
And used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger.
Right. Stop. Read what you got over here, Ak. That's what we did. We did these things. And all these things are still on the earth. There's still people that bow down to the sun, moon, and the stars. We call them astrologists. We still got people that worship the sun and these things and the stars and the zodiac. And they believe, like, I'm going to read the zodiac. This is going to tell me how I should walk. Well, we should be checking out these scriptures, so we should know how to walk, right? Read what you got.
Deuteronomy 32 and 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange power.
Right?
With abominations provoked they him to anger.
Yeah, the Lord is mad. The Lord is mad at us because we're seeking after these strange powers. And again, it's not these idols that we used to be in yesteryear where they just set it up. It's not so much the physical idol no more. It's the idol that's in our heads, right? We got these idols in our hearts, in our minds. These things have been programmed into us, right? Read on.
They sacrifice unto devils, not to the Heavenly Father,
right,
to powers whom they knew not, to new powers that came up newly.
Yeah, man, that's what we into today. We into these new things. We into these new ways of serving the Lord that the Lord never set up. Brothers and sisters, they want to call themselves Baptist. They want to call themselves Catholic. They want to call themselves Muslim. They want to call themselves Rasta. None of these names are in the Bible. The Lord never told us to call ourselves these things, right? But what we're dealing with now is how we're burning our children in the fire, right? So let's get into some of these scriptures here, right? Over here, let me get Jeremiah. Let me get Jeremiah 23, 1 to 8. Over here, let me get Psalms 106, 34 to 42. And you can hold Ezekiel 20. I wanted 23 to 32. Read what you got, bro.
Jeremiah 23 and 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord.
Stop. And who are the pastors today, man? The pastors are these religious leaders, these people that stand up and hold the Bible and say that we should follow a religion. Right? Read on.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my flock. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, saith the Lord.
Right?
And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries, whither I have driven them.
Excuse me, I wanted Ezekiel. It was Ezekiel. I wanted Ezekiel 23 and 1. But that applies. Because that's what's happening to all these pastors. They're scattering the people. How are they scattering the people? Because we're not teaching the same thing. Brothers and sisters are teaching lies out of the Bible, right? If you say a man is supposed to go join a religion, is supposed to call himself a Protestant, supposed to call himself a Baptist, to call himself an Episcopalian, these names are not in the Bible. The Lord never told you to go join a religion. The Lord, he gave us commandments, statutes, and laws to live by. That's what we should be walking in, right? Not religion. Religion is something made by man that came out the heart and imagination of a man, right? Read what you got.
Ezekiel 23 and 1. The word of the Lord came unto me again, saying, Son of man, there were two women, the daughters of one mother,
right?
And they committed whoredoms in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. Were they there? Were they breast? And there were they bruised the teats of their virginity.
Right.
And the names of them were Ahula, the elder,
right,
and Ahulabah, her sister.
The two women that the Lord is talking about is these two nations. The nation of Judah, the house of Judah, and the house of Israel. The house of Judah being you so-called Negroes of the diaspora that went through captivity here in America. With the West Indians, we know them to be the Benjamites. And Levi, we know to be the Haitians. This is the southern kingdom of Israel that is talking about here, the two women. The other woman he's talking about is the northern tribes, the Hispanics and the Indians that's here on this sign. Right? Simeon being you Dominicans, Zebulon being Guatemala to Panama, Ephraim being you so-called Puerto Ricans, Manasseh being the Cubans, Gad being the North American Indians, Reuben being the Seminole Indians in Florida, Naphtali being Argentina to Chile, Asher being Colombia to Uruguay, and Issachar being the Mexican. The Lord is saying these are the two women, or the two houses within one nation of people, because we're all one nation. The Negro is a brother to the West Indian. The West Indian, he's a brother to the Dominican. The Panamanian and the Cuban, those are our brothers and sisters, right? We're of all one house. And the Lord is saying we were playing the whore. And when he's talking about we was playing the whore, he's not talking about physically we was going around sleeping with a lot of different women. The Lord's talking about how spiritually we've been going around checking out all these religions, all these other nations and the way they serve the Lord, instead of checking out our own history and our own heritage, you know what I mean, that the Lord gave us, right? Read on.
Ezekiel 23 and 4.
Right?
And the name of them are Ahula and Aholibah, her sister.
Right? The northern and southern kingdoms of Israel, right?
And they were mine, and they bear sons and daughters. Thus were their names. Samaria is Ahula, and Jerusalem is Aholibah.
Right? Down to 8
And Ahula played the harlot when she was mine,
right?
And she doted on lovers, on the Syrians, her neighbors,
right?
Which were clothed with blue, captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men.
So the Lord saying in ancient time, us as a nation of people, we were blown away by the Assyrians. We saw the Assyrians was flowing with wealth. They had gold and blue apparel. They was popping. They was doing their thing. And us as a people, we humbled up into them, and we started serving what they believed in. We started following their ways, and we forgot about the Lord and the ways that He gave us, right? And it's the same thing going on here in America. Same thing going on here in America. We sit up here and we look at the so-called white man. We want to shave off our beard to look like them. We want to wear a suit and tie on them and go in the corporate world. There's no way we're going to do better than the so-called white man in his own land. The Lord didn't set it up for that. This is their land. They got their picture on the money. You know what I mean? This is their zone. We're just doing a bid here, right? That's our only purpose here in America. We're doing a bid, and we're trying to put ourselves back together, right? Read what you got, Al. Right up down to 8.
Ezekiel 23 and 5. And Ahula played the harlot when she was mine, and she doted on her lovers, on the Assyrians, her neighbors,
right?
Which were clothed with blue, captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, horsemen riding upon horses.
Right?
Thus she committed whoredom with them,
right?
With all of them that were the chosen men of Assyria,
right?
And with all of whom she doted, with all their idols, she defiled herself.
And that's what this lesson is about, man. It's about religion. About being religion is modern day idolatry. Back in the days, every nation had an idol. The Chinaman had an idol, the Assyrian had an idol, the African had an idol, the Japanese man had an idol, but we were serving the Lord power, the creator of heaven and earth, the power, the true power, right? Skip down to the 27th verse.
Verse 27. For thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will deliver thee into the hands of them whom thou hatest,
right?
And to the hand of them whom thy mind is alienated.
And that's what the Lord did. The Lord was like, oh, you love these heathens so much, and you love their heathenish ways, and you don't like to serve the Most High in truth and sincerity, well, you could go into captivity to them, right? You could humble up to them that way, right? Read on.
Verse 29. And they shall deal with thee hatefully,
right?
And shall take away all thy labor, and shall lead thee naked,
right?
And bare.
Isn't that history? That's how they dealt with us. They dealt with hate. They was hanging us here in America. They sold us to slavery right there on the green here in New Haven, Connecticut. That's how they dealt with us. They dealt with us hatefully. We came destroyed as a nation of people, naked in chains, butt naked, assed out, in chains and shackles. Why? Because the white man is stronger than us, is smarter than us? No, because we turned our backs on the Lord. That's our power. We turn the backs on the Lord, our power, right? Read on.
Verse 29. And they shall deal with thee hatefully, right? And shall take away all thy labor, and shall lead thee naked and bare. And in nakedness of thy whoredoms shall be discovered, right? Both thy lewdness and thy whoredoms.
Down to 39. So the Lord got us exposed. He got us exposed because we deserve to be exposed. He gave us some laws and commandments and statutes and understanding and wisdom and knowledge that we threw away. And we left that off to be lewd, right? To run around and serve other religions, to run around and serve other idols and other lifestyles and philosophies that's contrary to what the Lord put out. Right? Read on out. Down to 39.
Verse 30. I will do these things unto thee, because thou hast gone a whoring after the heathen,
right?
And because thou art polluted with their idols,
right?
Thou hast walked in the way of thy sister. Therefore, I will give her a cup into thine hand.
Yeah, straight up and down, man. Today, a Negro in America, he'll go and call himself a Muslim. That's not our identity. That's not our heritage. We're not Muslims. We shouldn't be following Islam. Islam is an idol, right? Islam, they get all their juice from the scriptures. They copy whole chapters out of the Quran from the Bible, right? Those things are lies. It makes no sense for us to leave our own identity and to leave the Lord our power and to walk in other people's ways and to serve Christmas and to serve Easter and the story goes on. We need to stop chasing out these other nations and their religions, right? And hold on to what's ours. Read on out. Tell me right.
Ezekiel 33 and 32, 23 and 32. Thus says the Lord power, thou shalt drink of thy sister's cup,
Right.
deep and large. Thou shalt be laughed to scorn, and had in derision, and it containeth much. Thou shalt be filled with drunkenness.
Right.
And that's where we at. The drunkenness is the confusion and the philosophies that's in the earth. The fact of the matter is the Lord said we're going to drink of the cup of our sister. Because when we look through history, the northern kingdom, they went into captivity before the southern kingdom. So seeing that they went into captivity before us because of idolatry, we should have saw what they did and repented. But we did. We went on to the same idolatry. So now in 587 BC, the Lord humbled us up and sent us in captivity into Babylon. Right? Read on.
Ezekiel 23 and 33. And thou shalt be filled with drunkenness and sorrow.
Right? With confusion. That's what it is in America. The so-called Hispanic, the Negro, the West Indian, all these people of the children of slavery, we're in America and we're confused and we're full with sorrow because we don't have the truth. We don't have no wherewithal. We don't have this wisdom to stand before these other nations because we left off this Bible. We left off these scriptures, right? Read on.
Thou shalt be filled with drunkenness and sorrow, with the cup of astonishment and desolation, with the cup of thy sister Samaria. Thou shalt even drink it and suck it out, and thou shalt break the sherds thereof, and pluck off thy own breast. For I have spoken it, saith the Lord of power.
Take a picture of this.
Read what you got.
Hi guys.
Psalms 106:24. Yea, they despised the pleasant land. They believed not his word, but murmured in their tents, and hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord.
That's how these Negroes are. We harden our necks when we hear the truth. We harden our necks when we hear this Bible. We murmur and we spit at it, and we make it like it's some kind of game or some kind of joke. But the scriptures say, don't be deceived. The Most High is not mocked. What a man sow, that's what he's going to reap. Whatever good you put in, that's what you're going to get back. Whatever evil you put in, that's what you're going to get back, right? Read on.
Psalms 106:26. 106:34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them.
Yeah, because when we came into the heathen land, when we came into Canaan, the Lord said to kill all those Africans off. Straight commandment, and we didn't do that. And on the strength that we didn't do that, what happened? We started looking at their idols. We started looking at the foods that they ate. We started looking at their lifestyle. And we incorporated that into ours, which was to our detriment, right? Which was a blot, right? Read on.
But they were mingled among the heathen and learned their works.
Just like it is here in America. We're mingled among the Americans, but the Lord is saying, let's not pick up their ways, right? Read on.
And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them.
Yeah, what are the idols here in America? Religion, money, philosophy, holidays. The Lord made holy days. The Lord says 3 days that the men are supposed to appear. The Lord's Supper, which used to be called the Passover, Pentecost, the Feast of Weeks. You know what I mean? The Feast of Tabernacles. These are the days we should be keeping. Easter is an idol. Christmas is an idol. Thanksgiving is an idol. Right? All those things we need to leave off, right? Read on.
And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood.
Stop. And this came to pass. This is the history. It came to a point where we saw these heathen serving Baal and burning their children in the fire. And we saw them, these I believe it was the Chinese, they used to worship Molech and burn their children in the fire. So now here we come behind them and follow them and burn our children in the fire. Right? The Lord never asked us for that, right? Those are the ways of the heathen. Read on.
Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and their daughters.
And today we still doing this when we don't teach our children the truth, when we don't give our children the wherewithal, when we don't give our children these commandments. We're sending them into the fire of America, into the lies that's in America, right? Into all the games that America got for you, right? Read on.
And shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own work, and went a whoring with their own inventions.
Yeah, just like today. These own inventions are the religion. These things are invented. These things aren't what the Most High gave to us. These things came out of a man's heart. They're man-made. They take bits and pieces of the Bible and they run with it and make it look like it's something honorable, when all these religions, they're filled with lies and philosophies, right? Read on.
Therefore was the wrath of the Lord kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance.
Right?
And he gave them into the hand of the heathen.
Right?
And they that hated them ruled over them.
That's where we at today, man. The people that hate us is ruling over us. The Lord gave us into their hands because we left off the Lord, right? Read on.
Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand.
Right? And here we are, 2015, we're still in subjection. We're not in a physical captivity where we got chains and shackles on, but the philosophies and the lies got us confused. They got us destroyed so that we're shooting at our own people. We're killing our own people. We that confused, right? Read what you got over here.
Ezekiel 20 and 22. Nevertheless, I withdrew mine hand and wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted in the sight of the heathen, in whose sight I brought them forth.
So that's the love the Lord got for us. Even though we went off and we backslid and we turned away from the Lord is saying he's still going to gather us out of all these countries that he scattered us, and he's going to bring us back into our own land, and we're going to learn our ways. We got to learn all over again, because all we know now is the ways of the heathen. A lot of us born, raised in America, that's all we know is the ways of America. But the Lord is saying that he's going to train us up in our ways again, right, and bring us back to our own land. Read on out.
Ezekiel 20 and 23. I lifted up my eye. 23. I lifted up mine hand unto them also in the wilderness, that I would scatter them among the heathen, and disperse them through the countries, because they had not executed my judgments, but I despised my statutes, and I polluted my Sabbaths, and their eyes were after their fathers' idols.
Yeah, man, we see that our fathers went off with the idols, and here in 2015, we're still locking into them. But the fact of the matter is the Lord, he scatters amongst these nations for a reason. The fact, because the Lord, he wants to build us back up. He wants us to be an example to the other nations on how to serve the Lord in truth. Right? Read on.
Wherefore I gave them also statutes that were not good,
Right?
and judgments whereby they should not live.
Yeah, and how did this play out? This plays out because the fact of the matter is if you don't believe in the truth, you're going to believe in something else. You're going to believe in a lie. Right? If you don't believe in the truth, you're going to believe in a lie. So that's where we're at. We're blinded. We're blinded here in America so that we're believing everything these Americans tell us. Right? Read on.
And I polluted them in their own gifts, and that they caused to pass through the fire all that openeth the womb,
Right.
that I might make them desolate, to the end that they might know that I am the Lord.
Yeah, and the Lord is saying because we serve in the ways of these heathens, because we're following their practices, these things are making us desolate. These things are holding back the prosperity that we should be getting in the earth, right? Read on.
Therefore, Son of man, speak unto the house of Israel, and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power, Yet in this your fathers have blasphemed me, and that they have committed a trespass against me. For when I have brought them into the land, for the which I lifted up mine hand to give it to them, then they saw every high hill, and all the thick trees, and they offered their sacrifices, and there they presented the provocation of their offering. There also they made their sweet savor, and poured out their drink offerings.
Yeah, and it's the same thing today. The Lord said if you locked into this idolatry, or you're locked into religion, or this perverted way of serving the Lord is saying it's blasphemous. It gets them angry. It provokes them. It has them angry every day, these people that's locked off into the lies. And the fact of the matter is, too, that we're still chasing all these things down. Back then, we were doing all these idols in every high hill, under every thick tree, under every green tree and whatnot. But now you see churches are set up on every corner, under every tree, all over the place. It's churches. Even here in New Haven, I couldn't even count how many churches. Every other block is another church, but nobody's teaching the same thing. And nobody's teaching the truth, right? Read on.
Then I said unto them, What is the high place whereunto ye go?
Right.
And the name thereof is called Bama unto this day. Wherefore say unto the house of Israel, Thus saith the Lord power, Are you polluted after the manner of your fathers, and commit ye whoredom after their abominations?
Yeah, it's a question. Yeah, we're still doing the same mistakes and the same problems our forefathers did, right? Read on.
For when ye offer your gifts, when when ye make your sons to pass through the fire, ye pollute yourselves with all your idols, even unto this day. And shall I be inquired of by you?
Yeah, so the Lord say, while you still into this idolatry, while you still into this religion, while you still into this philosophy, and you expect the Lord to hear you, or the Lord to deliver you, or the Lord to do anything for you, when you lifting up an idol more than you're lifting up the Lord, what should the Lord do for you? When you turned your back on the Lord and you're locked into lies, right? The Lord can't help you. You got to leave off the lies, you got to leave off the religions, you got to leave off the idols, and then go inquire of the Lord, right? The Lord say if a man come to you and he asks you about this Bible, he said you're supposed to answer him according to the idols in his head, right? According to the things that you see that he's lifting up, right? That's contrary to the Lord. Read what you got. Read on out.
As I live, saith the Lord power, I will not be inquired of by you.
Right?
And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries to serve wood and stone.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. The Lord is saying it's not going to happen. All these people that love America and that love these American ways, or they love Buddha and they love Buddha's ways, or they love Africa and the African ways, the Lord is saying you're not going to get by with that. Living in these ways of the heathen, the Lord is not going to co-sign that or bless it, right? Read on.
As I live, saith the Lord power, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you.
Straight up and down. The Lord is going to beat us down with slavery, with captivity. We're going to be killing ourselves. All these things are going to happen until we leave off the idolatry, until we leave off all the lies, right? Over here, let me get Jeremiah 32. 32. I want it from 32 down to 42. Right? 32 to 42. 32 to 42.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, man, because it's crazy, man. It's a church on every street corner, and nobody's teaching the same thing. This Bible's all about teaching the same thing, about teaching the truth. So if you got 10 churches and you go to these different 10 churches and they're all speaking something different, it's like, it has to be a lie. It has to be. If we're reading out the same Bible, we should be able to sit down and come to the same conclusion, right? Read what
Jeremiah
you got.
32:32. Because of all the evil of the children of Israel and all the children of Judah,
Right.
which they have done to provoke me to anger, they, their kings, their princes, their priests,
Right.
and their prophets, and the men of Judah,
Yes.
the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
So the Lord is saying all of us is accountable for it. All the prominent people that stand up and call themselves leaders and that hold the Bible and that's not teaching the truth, you're accountable. If you're a brother and sister and you don't seek out the truth and you up here lost in the earth, you're accountable, because at some point in time, the Spirit had to pass through you. You had to consider these things and you didn't move on them, right? The brother just brought out the scripture, he that got an ear, let him hear. Whoever got a spiritual ear is going to understand this thing perfectly. A person that's not locked into the Spirit, this stuff is never going to make no sense to you, right? Read what you got.
Verse 33. And they have turned unto me the back and not the face.
Right.
Though I taught them, rising up early and teaching them, yet they have not hearkened to receive instructions.
Again, so nobody got no excuse, because the Lord is saying he keep men in the earth that's going to pump this word up. It might not be a lot of them. It might only be a few of them here and there. It might sound different from the way you heard other people teach the Bible, but the Lord said he sent brothers early, speaking this word, but we turned our backs, right? Read on.
Verse 33. And they have turned unto me the back and not the face. Though I taught them, rising up early and teaching them, yet they have not hearkened to receive instructions. But they set their abominations in the house, which is called by my name, to defile it.
And that's what life is all about, is instructions. A man might think he could get through life without no knowledge, wisdom, understanding. It's not going to work, man. Life is all about judgments. Am I going to do this or am I going to do that? Right? That's what life is all about. It's about time, because the time is short and you can never get it back. So with that time you got to make the right judgments. And how do we know what judgments to make? By digging in these scriptures and getting the wisdom from on high, right? Read on out.
Verse 34. But they set their, 35, and they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire to Molech.
Yeah, and I didn't pick it up this time because we went through it last time, but that's where that whole depiction of hell come from, because amongst the Israelites, we used to have a continual fire burning, that we used to burn all our trash and our refuse, and It was like a garbage incinerator. So that's where they get that image of hell of us, of a continual fire burning. And they used a pitchfork to turn and move whatever they put in there. But as time came on, we started burning our children in the fire, right? Read on.
Verse 35. And they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through, to the fire to Molech, which I commanded them not to. Neither came it into my mind, but they should do this thing, do this abomination, and cause Judah to sin. And now, therefore, thus saith the Lord power of Israel, concerning this city, whereof ye say, it shall be delivered into the hands of the king of Babylon, by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence.
So now we see that this is one of the biggest reasons why we did go into captivity, that we did go into slavery, is through idolatry, right? Through idolatry. Read on.
And now, therefore, thus says the Lord power of Israel, concerning this city, whereof ye say it shall be delivered into the hands of the king of Babylon, by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence, behold, I will gather them out of all countries, where I have driven them in my anger.
So the Lord does have a plan, though. The Lord does have a plan, that we're going to remember ourselves, we're going to remember who we are, right? We're going to pick these ways back up, and the Lord is going to deliver us out of these lands that he scattered us, right? Read on.
Behold, I will gather them out of all countries where I have driven them, in my anger and in my fury and in the great wrath, and I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely, and they shall be my people, and I will be their power, and I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, for the good of them and of their children after them.
Yeah, so the Lord is going to give us one heart and one way, right? It's not going to be all these religions all over these places, all these lines of philosophies and different ways of serving the Lord. The Lord said he's going to bring it back home, right? Where everybody's going to have the same understanding, and we're going to all believe the same things, right? Go back to the 2 Kings 17 and read the next verse. I believe it's 18, right? Over here, let me get 2 Kings 24 and 1. Give me Daniel 1.
2 Kings 17 and 18. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only.
Yeah, and again, the northern kingdom went into captivity around 709 BC. The southern kingdom, they went into captivity to Babylon around 387 BC, right? Only Judah was left at this time, right? Read on.
Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hands of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight.
So this is what I'm going to be digging into now, how the Lord removed us out of his sight, out of his presence, out of our land. That's what the Lord did. He removed us because of this idolatry, right, to the four corners of the earth. You so-called Negroes of the diaspora, right? And of the transatlantic slave trade, right? The Lord scattered you throughout the whole earth. Read on.
2 Kings 24 and 1. In the days Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him.
Right.
And the Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldees, and bands of the Syrians, and bands of the Moabites, and bands of the children of the Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it.
Yeah, this is the first captivity we went into after Egypt, the Babylonian captivity, right? And this happened again because of idolatry, right? Read on.
And sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servants the prophets. Surely as the commandments of the Lord came this upon Judah, to remove them out of his sight for the sins of Manasseh, according to all that he did.
Yeah, the Lord wanted to remove us out of his sight, out of his holy land, out of his presence, right? Because we came so carried away with the idolatry, which we're calling religion today in the earth, right? Now drop down here, drop down to the 10th verse. Read 10 to 14.
2 Kings 24:10. At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother, and his servants, and his princes, and his officers, and the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign.
Yeah, because what happened with Babylon, they didn't conquer us at one time. It was 3 separate invasions before we fell all together as a nation of people, right? And were removed out of that land, out of the sight of the Lord, right? Read on.
And he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon king of Israel had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said.
Yeah, so they came in and ravished our land, ravished the temple, took all the treasures that Solomon set up in the temple, and they brought it all into captivity into Babylon, right? Read on.
And he carried away all of Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remained save the poorest sort of the people of the land.
Yeah, so when they came in Babylon, they took out all the nobles, all the fighters, all the kings, all the prominent men out of the land first, so that they couldn't come back together and try to revolt against them. Only the poor and the broke down and base people, those are the only people that were still left in the land of Jerusalem. Right? Read on.
And 2 Kings 24:20. For through the anger of the Lord it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, until he had cast them out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon.
Yeah, so through the anger of the Lord, we ended up getting removed and cast out of the Holy Land, and now we're here in America. Read what you got over here, Hawk.
Daniel 1:1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it.
Again, we're showing how the Lord brought this first captivity upon us, being the Babylonian captivity, right? Read on.
And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of the Most High, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his powers. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of the Most High.
And so he took all the hallowed treasures that was out of the temple, and he brought it into captivity there in Babylon, into his house of treasures, right? Read on.
And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs, that he should bring certain...
That's good. Let me get Daniel 7. 7 and 1. 1 down to 7. Because we need knowledge of our history. The Lord, he removed us out of our land, but it's not like when we removed out of our land, we came straight to America. We came through a whole bunch of different captivities. In and out of captivities because of our denying the Lord, because of us wanting to be hard-headed. Right? Read on.
Daniel 7 and 1. In the 1st year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, divers one from another.
Okay. This chapter is going to go down to the 4 major captivities of the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom, they went through a different set of captivities. But we're picking it back up here. Tell me where you at, Hawk.
Daniel 7 and 1. In the 1st year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, divers one from another.
Yeah, it was different nations that was different ways than others, different, customs than others. Let's talk about different nations, the beast here. The fact of the matter is we're bringing out now how the Lord removed us out of his sight, right? Because of all the idolatry, us chasing after the ways of the heathen and the religions and the customs of other people, instead of identifying with who we are as a nation of people, we left all those things and turned our back on the Lord. So now the Lord said he brought captivity upon us. And far as we know through the Bible, we know ourselves to be Israelites, right? We know ourselves to be Judah being the Negroes, Benjamin being the West Indians, Levi being the Haitians. This is the house I'm dealing with right now. This is the southern kingdom, and the first captivity they went into here was Babylon that we're reading, right? Pick it up.
Daniel 7:4. The first was like a lion,
right,
and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked,
right,
and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and as a man's heart was given to it.
Right.
And behold, another beast.
See, this first beast here is talking about is the Babylonian captivity that the southern kingdom went through. It goes through the wings on the back of the lion because it was swift when they came in and took us out, right? Read on.
And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh.
Yeah, this is Daniel prophesying this around 587 BC, that we're going to go into captivity after Babylon to the Medo-Persians, right? Because when the Lord removed us from out of his sight, out of our land, we went through a series of captivities. The Lord beat us up and broke us down to try to humble us up so we could come back to him, right? Read on.
Daniel 7:6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this,
now this leopard is talking about the Greek captivity, because as soon as we came out of the Medo-Persian captivity, the Lord brought us amongst these Greeks, right, and humbled us up to them, and we were in servitude unto the Greeks, right? Read on.
Daniel 7:7. After this, I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible,
right,
and strong exceedingly,
right,
and it had great iron teeth,
right,
and devoured and brake in pieces,
right,
and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
Right. And this beast here is talking about the Roman captivity that you so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Levites went through, right? The southern kingdom, right? Let's talk about the Roman captivity, right? Come down here, come down to the 17th verse and read that.
Daniel 7:17.
Hold on. The 4th beast is talking about is the Romans, but we do understand that America is a Romo-Greco empire. So the ways of the Greek and the ways of the Romans are here in America. They carry those same customs. And those are the same people. They're that same red beast that they talk about in Revelation, that so-called white man, right? The Greco-Roman captivity. That's what's going on here in America, right? Read on.
Daniel 7:17. These great beasts, which are 4 kings,
right,
which shall arise out of the earth.
Right.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever.
Yeah, he's breaking it down. Those four beasts are 4 kings and their kingdoms, right? Now let me get the 23rd verse.
Daniel 7:23. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth,
Right.
which shall be diverse from all kingdoms,
Right.
and shall devour the whole earth,
Right.
and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
Yeah, and let's talk about this captivity that we in today. So we see that you so-called Negroes, West Indian Levites, the southern kingdom of Israel. We see you went to captivity in Babylon, Medo-Persia, to the Greeks, to the Romans, and now we're here in captivity here in America, right? Read what you got here, because we provoked the Lord. The Lord took us out of our land, and he removed us from his sight, and we went through a whole lot of beatdowns, a whole lot of backache, you know what I mean, for turning our backs on the Lord, right? And now we're here today in America, still getting beat down, right? Read on, read what you got.
Deuteronomy 28 and 36. The Lord shall bring thee in thy kingdom, the Lord shall bring thee in thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, and to a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Right.
And there thou shalt serve other powers, wood and stone.
It's talking about here in America. This is the nations that our forefather never heard of. Because back then, everything was in the Middle East. It was on that side of the world. Now through captivity, we're all the way over here in this land that nobody used to dwell in. Right? Read on.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, and a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
And that's where it is. The Lord led us out of our land, out of his sight, and now we're here in America in captivity, getting beat down, worshiping powers of wood and stone, worshiping these man-made religions, right? Worshiping all these philosophies here in America, right? What verse is that?
38.
Okay, let me get 47 to 50 now. Same chapter.
Deuteronomy 28:47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy power, with joyfulness and gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things.
So that's the problem. When we was in the land, when the Lord was on the side, when we were prospering and we were doing good, we took those things for granted, right? We didn't serve the Lord with joyfulness. We was always murmuring, right? We was always backbiting, right? We always had something slick to say, right? Read on.
Therefore, thou shalt serve thy enemy, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger,
right,
and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck,
right,
until he have destroyed thee.
And did not these things come to pass? We turned our backs on the Lord, and the Lord, he put yokes of irons on us. He put right here on the green, Amistad, right here on the New Haven green. We went into captivity. And again, it's not because the so-called white man is stronger than us, faster than us, and smarter than us. It's because we left off, we turned our backs on the Lord. So the Lord punished us, right? Read on.
Deuteronomy 28:49.
Right.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far,
right,
from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle.
Isn't the eagle the representation of America? Don't you see that in all their law offices? Don't you see that upon the money? The eagle is the emblem for America, right? And this is where the Lord said he was going to bring us, as it is today, 2015, right? Read what you got.
As swift as the eagle fleeth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Yeah, when we came here off those slave ships, we didn't understand what this Edomite's language and what he was talking about. We were confused. We were in disarray. We were destroyed. We was a destroyed people, right? Read on.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Yeah, when we came here, they didn't regard the old or the young. Everybody got beat down. Everybody got auctioned off. Everybody got sold. You see that even today. It's no regard for the young or the old. They set up traps for us. They set it up so that the young fight against the old, so that the light skin fight against the dark skin, right? They set it up so that the Negro woman is against the Negro man. All these things are traps that set up against us in the earth, right? Read on.
Deuteronomy 60:28 and 50. Right. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And they shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, right, and the fruit of thy land.
And that's what happened. Today, our land is Jerusalem. Our land is Israel. That's our native land, right? It's not Africa. That's not where we come from. We're not Africans. We see even with Moses, he was amongst the Africans, grew up in the house of the Africans, but he wasn't an African. We're Israelites, right? Read what you got.
Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people,
right,
from one end of the earth even unto the other.
That's you, the Negro of the diaspora. You so-called Negroes, you so-called West Indians, and you so-called Levites of the Southern Kingdom. You are the Negroes of the diaspora. And the Lord said he would scatter you. You are the Negroes of the diaspora. And the Lord said he would scatter you all over the earth, right? A lot of us primarily here in America.
And it shall come to pass, verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And then thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, even wood and stone.
That's where we at. We're serving all these different religions. We're serving money. We bow down to things that have no life in it, that can't prosper us, that can't make us no better. These are the things that we're humbling up to, vain things, right? Read on.
Verse 65, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease, right, neither the sole of thy foot shall have rest, right, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and felling of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
Isn't that where we at today, where we were failing, we're trembling? We got the so-called police shooting us down left and right. We shooting each other down left and right. Are we not a destroyed people right now? Are we not a people that the Lord broke down? You so-called Negroes, West Indians, Hispanics, those of Latin descent, all the children of captivity in Northern, Southern, Central America, and the Caribbean belt, you are the chosen people of the Lord, right? Read on.
Verse 65, 66. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life.
Again, we see this. The police are shooting us down left and right and getting off with it. They're shooting us and saying that they meant to tase us. They're shooting us in the back. You know what I mean? We're destroyed people. This is a curse that the Lord put upon us for turning our backs on him. Right? Read on.
Verse 67. In the morning thou shalt say, would the Most High were even. And in the evening thou shalt say, would the Most High was morning.
That's how it is. A Negro here in America, a Hispanic here in America, this is how they feel. It's when the evening is, read that verse again. It's like sorrowful the whole day. It's problems, right?
And in the morning thou shalt say, would the Most High was even.
Yeah, even in the morning, you just getting up and you already wishing for the evening to come because of all the problems, all the tribulation, all the bywords you gotta be called, all the racism you gotta go through here in America, being a Negro, right? Read on.
And in evening thou shalt say, would the Most High was morning, for the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the fear of thine eyes, which thou shalt see.
Yeah, man, because we're broken down. If we don't fear the Lord, you're going to fear everything else. If you don't set the Lord as your chief fear, you're going to fear other people. You're going to fear other animals. You're going to fear everything else, right? Read on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
And we know that the Lord brought us out of Egypt in ancient time, and we've never been back in Egypt since. So it's a different Egypt he's talking about here, right? Let me get Deuteronomy 8. You know that one we're talking about? Nah, that's cool. But Egypt, the name itself, it means house of bondage. So when he said he's going to bring us into Egypt again, he's talking about the house of bondage here in America that he was going to bring us to, that was prophesied to happen. Right? Read on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. The
way that he spake of us to us is what they call the transatlantic slave trade, where you have the so-called Africans and the so-called white man and the so-called Arab. They were all working together to sell us into slavery for guns and rum and products and things like that, right? They were selling us for gun and rums, right? Read on.
And the Lord shall bring thee to Egypt again with ships, right? And by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And then you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Yeah, no man is going to redeem us. We're sold here in America, and no man is going to redeem us. The only person that could redeem us is Christ. So, as a nation of people, we need to lock back into this Bible. We need to lock back into this truth. We need to leave off chasing everybody else down and get our thing together, right? Brothers united in Christ, Shalam.